Welcome to Black Angus Reviews. Before we begin, I'd like to steer your attention to two channels that join me for my Dark Phoenix Raw reaction, Lee Colt IV and Comic Book Bob. Their links are below. Check them out and subscribe. Dark Phoenix is the iconic Dark Phoenix saga retold after Days of Future Past undid The Last Stand. When set on a rescue mission outside Earth's atmosphere, Jean Grey absorbs a cosmic force that possesses her body and reveals the trauma previously forgotten, undoing the work of Professor X. With tensions already high due to the constraints of establishing goodwill for mutant kind with the rest of humanity, and Jean now on the loose, the X-Men fracture and new alliances are formed and rekindled as Jean struggles to control herself and choose a path. Dark Phoenix is the culmination of almost 20 years and the final chapter in the Fox X-Men storyline. From what I gather from multiple well-versed readers of the Dark Phoenix storyline, this was yet again a failure at capturing one of the most iconic stories in both Marvel and in comics in general. For myself though, a fan of all the X-Men aside from Origins, I was generally pleased. Sophie Turner did a pretty good job following up her first portrayal of Jean Grey in Apocalypse, but is hindered, in my opinion, due to lack of experience overall, despite a very apparent breakthrough role as Sansa in Game of Thrones after emancipation from King's Landing. I think with a few more lead roles, she would really win the crowd more so than she has already for one of the few things applauded critically. McAvoy, Fassbender, Lawrence, and Holt reprise their roles with the same high level that has previously been established. But newcomers in the roles of Storm, Nightcrawler, and young Cyclops have little chance to leave an impression, good or bad. The film starts with a catalyst early in Jean's life that places her in Xavier's school for the gifted, then moves to 1992 when a shuttle launch goes awry. After Jean is hit with the cosmic force, things seem generally fine, with the X-Men returning the astronauts, and it is revealed that the X-Men are in good standing with humankind, even having toys produced of them. Things seem fine until Jean starts losing control gradually. All the while behind the scenes, the last of the First Class, Mystique, Beast, and the Professor are at odds at how to proceed in their dealings with the rest of humanity. After Jean awakens from her first fit, she blocks Xavier from her mind, superseding his power even when amplified with Cerebro, revealing repressed memories and setting out to find her father, who she learns isn't dead. Upon finding him, she's further possessed by her rage and eventually kills Mystique in her blind fury. All the while, the Dabari, a stand-in for the Skrulls, lands on Earth in search of the cosmic force that they've been following. Jean ends up finding Magneto, seeking his aid when the US military comes to take Jean into custody. Because of recent developments, temporary mutant internment camps are formed and Xavier loses communication privilege with the US government. Having lost Mystique, Beast has abandoned his work with the X-Men and teams up with Magneto and his mutant commune in a quest for both the world's safety and revenge for Raven. Xavier learns Jean's whereabouts, and his team crosses paths with Magneto and company before both attempt to confront Jean, now in league with the Dabari. All goes awry, and all the mutants at the scene are taken into military custody, restrained with collars similar to those in Deadpool 2, previously established, muting their abilities, including Jean, whose cosmic powers are halved by the lead Dabari. When the Dabari set upon the train, the mutants are freed and a good and violent action sequence ensues, eventually derailing the train. Jean seems to harness control of her powers and takes out all the Dabari, aside from the lead. When confronting the lead, though, Cyclops becomes endangered and Jean takes the last Dabari in space and destroys her, and seemingly herself. The film ends with the school being named after Jean Grey, Hank McCoy is the new leader, and Professor X retiring. Magneto finds him and starts to play a game of chess, a nod to all the other matches they've had. The camera pans up to the sky and we see a phoenix of fire in the heavens, a hint that more may come. There is no end credit scene like films before. Leaving Dark Phoenix, I rate the film at 6.5 out of 10. It has good moments, but is not, in my opinion, as good a follow-up to Apocalypse as I'd have hoped. Aside from the train, action sequences felt minimal and underutilized. Having Quicksilver as a new hallmark of an awesome visual accomplishment, they quickly throw him to the curb. The infight is extremely underwhelming and the team present seems to have been forgotten to contribute at all once Jean assumes her Phoenix abilities. The film also has moments They could have gone really dark, having just killed Mystique early on, and never follows that up with any real gravity we've seen previously established, most notably the death of Eric's family, and the tragic ends of the X-Men before the timeline in the 70s rectifies the plot of Days of Future Past, and even the emotional moment of Wolverine and Phoenix in Last Stand. For those who hated the Dark Phoenix story thread in Last Stand, I think there's more to like, especially Phoenix being the focus of a developed story, but not having some cost like Cyclops dying left the climax underwhelming. Overall, I enjoyed it, but left disappointed, especially because there's clearly more stories to tell in this series, but with a buyout by Disney, we'll never see them, along with this story needing at least 2 films, if not a trilogy, to do it justice. One thing I do not understand is the critics' response to this film. On the first day, it had a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, worse than the first phase of the Snyder-led DCEU even. I don't understand how this film, at least a 50% middle-of-the-road kind of film, can be panned by critics, yet Captain Marvel can be boosted to around 80% and certified fresh. This is a film with about as many powerful women as men, including Jean being a lead character who transcends in some way from her cosmic possession. I see this as an example of Rotten Tomatoes being a compromised site yet again. Regardless how you feel about this film or the X-Men franchise, I truly think we'll miss even a film like Dark Phoenix, with a good amount of violence and tension, making us fear a graphic demise of characters we've invested in once Disney takes over these characters and has less competition. Despite the X-Men universe at Fox not having a clear vision like the MCU, I always felt the films were trying to say something and not hold back with any dramatic weight. Only time will tell how right I and others are. In closing, I'd like to thank my patron Thomas Gilkey for supporting the channel. Links to his channel and to support my work are below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you'd like to support this channel, consider becoming a patron or buying store merch from the Teespring store. Don't forget to check out the growing list of friends in the Fandom Collective in the description below. And follow me on Twitter @AngusReviews. See you there.